In the business world, there's one word you hear all the time, right? Efficiency. Everyone's obsessed with it. But what if I told you that chasing efficiency on its own could be the biggest mistake your company is making? Yeah, seriously, let's get into it. So let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. Are you efficient at being ineffective? I know, it sounds kind of weird, right? A total head scratcher. But this question gets right to the heart of a huge problem that plagues so many companies. We get so focused on doing things fast that we completely forget to stop and ask, should we even be doing this in the first place? And listen, this isn't just some abstract, philosophical thing. When you put efficiency on a pedestal without thinking, it can lead to some seriously bad outcomes. Let's take a look at a few real-world examples of when efficiency goes totally wrong.
Okay, first up, digital transformation. You've seen this happen. A company's got this old, clunky process and they think, hey, let's automate it. Let's throw some shiny new tech at it. So they build this amazing new system that does that same old clunky thing, just, 10 times faster. But here's the trap. If that original process was never actually solving the real customer problem, well, all they've done is build a super fast machine that delivers the wrong answer, faster than ever before.
Or how about this one? This is a classic. A company wants to slash costs, right? So they decide to outsource a whole department to save a buck on labor. I mean, on paper, it sounds super efficient. Lower labor costs, the balance sheet looks great, but, and this is a big but, if the process they're outsourcing is broken to begin with, all they're doing is paying someone else less money to do a bad job. And that can absolutely destroy your service quality and trash the customer relationships you spent years building. And this isn't just some made-up example. The author of the work we're looking at today shares this incredible story from his days in manufacturing. He was totally obsessed with streamlining a production process, making it perfectly, beautifully efficient. He was so deep in the weeds on this that he almost blew a critical delivery deadline for a major client. Think about that. He was about to be incredibly efficient at completely failing his customer. Thankfully, he pulled it off and made the delivery in time. But the lesson really stuck with him, all thanks to something a coworker said. It's so simple, but so powerful. Sometimes you just need to be effective, not efficient. And that's the whole point, isn't it? What good is a perfectly oiled, super efficient process if it fails to deliver the one thing that actually matters? At that moment, just getting the job done, being effective, was everything. Efficiency, that was a distant second. So all of this leads to a huge shift in how we need to think. Before we jump into optimizing anything, before we even start talking about the how, we have to pause. We have to stop and ask a totally different question first. And that question is all about one word: effectiveness. For just a minute, forget about speed, forget about cost. Effectiveness is all about connecting every single thing you do back to a bigger purpose. It's about asking, hey, does this task, this project, this process, does it actually deliver real, meaningful value to our customer? That's it. That's your North Star. And this leads to what might be the single most powerful and maybe even terrifying question you can ask in business. Before you automate, before you outsource, before you streamline anything, you have to ask yourself, does this process even need to exist at all? It's a gutsy question for sure, but answering it honestly can save you a world of pain because it stops you from wasting time and money optimizing something that should have just been thrown out. Okay, so how do we take this idea and turn it into something we can actually use? A simple, repeatable framework. Well, all this thinking comes together in what the author calls the E-squared model. And it's beautifully simple. E-squared stands for effectiveness and efficiency. But here's the crucial part. The order is absolutely non-negotiable. Step 1, let's call it E1, is effectiveness. Your first job is to make dead sure you are delivering the right value. You have to lock down the what and the why. And only after you've done that, only then can you move on to step 2, E2, which is efficiency. Then you get to figure out the best, most streamlined way to deliver that value. And looking at it side by side like this, it really makes the difference crystal clear. The old way, which is what most places do, is efficiency first. And what's the result? You get really, really good at doing things that don't matter. You become, you guessed it, highly efficient at being ineffective. The E-squared model completely flips that on its head. You make sure you are effective first. Then you use all your brain power to become as efficient as possible. It's such a simple sequence, but believe me, it changes absolutely everything.
All right, so how do you start putting this to work, like today? It really just comes down to a super simple 2-question checklist. You can apply this to pretty much any process, any task, anything you're working on. Question number 1 is your effectiveness check. Before you do anything else, you have to ask, does this thing I'm about to do align with our purpose? Does it deliver real, meaningful value to our customer? Now, if the answer is no, or even if it's just, I'm not really sure, you stop. That's it. You don't get to move on to the next question. You have to fix this first. Only when you can give a loud, confident yes to that first question, only then have you earned the right to ask question 2. And that's your efficiency check. Okay, now are we delivering this valuable solution in the most streamlined, resource-efficient way possible? You see how that works? It's a system that makes it impossible to waste time optimizing a useless task. Effectiveness is basically the gatekeeper for efficiency. So, look, if you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. True operational excellence isn't just about being the fastest or the cheapest. It's about following a strict, non-negotiable sequence. First, you have to be effective. Make absolutely sure you are doing the right things. Then, and only then, do you worry about becoming efficient at doing them. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Take this idea back to your world. Think about your team, your company, even just your own daily to-do list. What's one efficient process you're doing right now that, if you're being honest, desperately needs a hard look from an effectiveness point of view? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.